A Pacific white-striped dolphin is accompanying marine biologist Alexandra Morton on her way up the coast of Vancouver Island. Morton has lived for more than 30 years amid the amazing biological diversity of the west coast of Canada. Morton is best known for her work studying killer whales, but the environmental activist has also been involved in researching salmon. That's led her to criticize foreign-owned salmon farms. More than 100 salmon-raising facilities are located within this natural paradise. They belong to Norwegian companies. The clear Canadian water allows them to produce 75,000 tons of fish per year, 75,000 tons of Atlantic salmon, which aren't even native to the Pacific.
The danger of putting the farm right in the prime wild salmon habitat is that all the pathogens, the mucus coming out of the gills, the waste coming out of the fish, that is pouring over the wild fish. They're actually taking it in their mouth and passing it over their gills. And it's very, very dangerous to allow feedlot viruses into the wild animals.
It's autumn, and Morton is travelling up the rivers of Vancouver Island. It's time for the salmon's annual migration to their spawning ground. It's a unique natural spectacle. Millions of salmon leave the ocean to swim upstream in the rivers. The salmon's journey back to their birthplace is an arduous one. When they reach their destination, they'll spawn and die. Their remains provide important nutrients for trees and insects. And they are also an object of research for Morton.
1.17.
The biologist takes tissue samples for later laboratory analysis. The idea is to test whether the fish had any European Piscine diseases. Morton suspects that viruses from the salmon farms may have infected the wild salmon population.
Without these fish, it'll be like somebody turns the lights off for this coast. People, whales, animals, trees, everything will be depleted. So the risk in British Columbia from Norwegian viruses is incalculable. It is irrevocable. You will not be able to roll these things back. You will not be able to pull them back into the barn.
A seaplane flies over a remote part of Vancouver Island's west coast. Stuart Hawthorne is in charge of one of the Norwegian company's Canadian operations. Their turnover is some 250 million euros annually. The aquaculture industry is growing by leaps and bounds. People around the world are consuming more and more fish and seafood.
Right, there's good, Bert.
3 workers here take care of around 700,000 salmon. Open sea factory farming is a new economic branch in comparison to mass agriculture on land. Hawthorne says that salmon farming is much more environmentally friendly than the mass production of beef and poultry. The salmon industry uses far less feed than 10 years ago. And the controversial use of fish meal has been reduced by up to 50%.
We've completely changed our practices over the years, but so we'll have slight fallowing. We'll have only one age of fish on any one farm at any one time. We'll grow those fish out to harvest size, harvest them all out, and then we'll have no fish at the location for a period of time. That's important. We use vaccines to make sure that our fish don't get sick.
Yes, they say they're using the best practices. They say they have the tightest regulations anywhere in the world. I look at the wild fish. I see disease all over them. I see sea lice at the salmon farms. I see European, Norwegian virus in the wild herring and the wild salmon. So whatever these best practices are, they're not working for the wild fish.
Perhaps this pilot project on Vancouver Island will provide a way forward. With the help of donations and state subsidies, a salmon raising facility, the biggest of its kind in North America, is being built. It's located on the mainland, not in the open ocean. The water is circulated in a closed system, so bacteria, virus and waste can't make it into the environment. This salmon farm also does without antibiotics and pesticides. The environmental activists behind the project want to show that organic salmon farming can be profitable.
We can grow the fish in half the time of many conventional fish farms, and we can also do so using about 30% less feed, because we create optimal conditions for the fish to grow in, so the fish are happy.
Alexandra Morton is sceptical. She doesn't believe most salmon farmers will invest in expensive technology or forego the use of chemicals.
The only thing that could stop this possibly is the consumer. As these companies, they're all about what the consumer wants. The consumer wants something different. They don't want this messy, sloppy, dirty thing. Then they'll change.
Alexandra Morton says she's driven by her worries that the unique biosphere of Vancouver Island might be damaged by industry that's governed by the laws of the marketplace rather than the laws of nature.